bitch.
That's right. We're back. Hi everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Phantasy Star Universe. Ambition of the Illuminus. We're having some heavy technical difficulties in the first 15 minutes of this stream. But it's all resolved now, and those of you on YouTube watching this on YouTube, you don't have to worry about any of that. It's all good. We got nothing but premium quality content for y'all on the YouTubes. So, without further ado, let's get on with it. We finished Chapter 7, Festival of Light, yesterday, last stream. So we're starting Chapter 8 today. And it looks, based on this whole play bar here, looks like it's gonna be the shortest out of all of them. The shortest chapter out of all of them. Wondering why that is, but I guess we'll find out. Because I don't do spoilers. It does feel like a first time playthrough all over again. Just because I completely forgot like 99% of the story, you know? Because the last time I played this was literally like 15 years ago. Hasn't used that backup save file in a while. Alright, here we go. Episode 2, Flash of Ruin. The third classified mission from headquarters. HQ. Go to Dagora City and rendezvous with a civilian partner. A civilian partner, huh? Who this? On the day of the communion of Goral's Holy Light Festa, several terrorist attacks occurred simultaneously on new days. In particular, the disappearance of Otoku Mountain plunged the city into widespread panic. Inside the communion's temple, the criminal group the Illuminus programmed the guard machines to run amok. Finished with their task of purifying the seed forms in their assigned district, Laya's group headed to Communion headquarters and broke through the guard machines. Yes. In the recesses of the headquarters, the Sisters of the Holy Light, young girls training in hopes of someday becoming the Divine Maiden, were discovered unconscious, contained within a mysterious device. Laya's group released them, but the intentions of the Illuminus and Ethan Weber, whose whereabouts are still unknown, continue to be a mystery.
We will choose to fight.
Here we go.
For a world beyond.
I wasn't gonna do it twice, but okay. I was like, we've been doing one chapter per stream, so how the hell are we on part 9 but chapter 8? And then that's why I looked over, hit the mouse. I looked over here and was like, oh yeah, the character creation and tutorial took me a whole stream because I blabbered a lot. I remember now. I was yapping.
a bitch.
Episode 2, Chapter 8, Flash of Destruction. Well, that sounds ominous. Mina says, welcome to the Guardians, protecting the future of Garal. Yeah. I've confirmed your Guardian's license. Today you have another classified mission. Oh yeah, what do we got? Laia says, does that mean that Headmaster Knave will be coming along again? Mina says, no, not this time. An outside civilian will be accompanying you on your mission. Laia says, a civilian? Can't you tell me who it is? Mina says, I'm sorry. After all, it is a classified mission.
Bruh.
Laia says, weird. Oh well, whatever. Whoever they are, I just hope they won't be too much of a burden. Something to look forward to when we get to Motub, I guess. Mina says, may the holy light guide you. Yeah. Laia says, well then. Knave, don't do it, man. Don't do it. Oh man, here it comes. Laia says, where's this civilian?
Bruh.
Hey!
Surprise, motherfucker.
Knave says, ho ho! He clearly grabbed her ass just like he did to Karen. Except this time they didn't show it. They kind of cut it. They put the camera a little higher so you couldn't actually see his hand on her ass like they did with Karen in the last episode. Knave says, excellent work, Laia. You detected my presence with your heightened senses. Laia says, sense is nothing. You grabbed my ass.
You bastard! You son of a bitch!
You perverted old man.
You suck!
That's it. I'm out of here. Knave says, oh, don't be silly. I was just evaluating your fat to muscle ratio. Ha! Yeah, I'll make sure to use that line the next time I get busted doing something like that. Jesus Christ. That'll definitely keep me from getting my ass beat or thrown in jail. Knave says, I must say, your muscles are some of the best in the Guardians. Look at him. He's fucking piling it on over here. He's laying it on real thick.
Bullshit!
Bullshit.
Laia says, you don't need to tell me what I already know. Oh, well, Laia's very humble, isn't she? She's like, I know I'm lean as hell. I know I'm a goddess, all right? That doesn't mean you can touch my ass. She says, so what are you doing here, Headmaster?
You suck!
Knave says, you're looking for the civilian partner, are you not? Laia says, that's right. Knave says, well, I'll be introducing you. The bastard just had a cop a feel, at least once. She was on her guard last time. But this time he made sure to tell Mina not to warn her, and then he got her ass. Literally. Literally got her ass. Laia says, this is news to me. Knave says, if I went into that much detail with Mina, it wouldn't be a classified mission now, would it? Which is his way of confirming what I just said. Made sure not to tell her, so that Laia would not know. Laia says, if we had to partner with the Headmaster again, I'd go nuts. Yeah, especially after what he just did.
You son of a...
Knave says, ha ha ha, that goes for both of us. He heard that.
What? What? What the fuck?
Wait, who said that? Who did it point to? Was it Laia? I think Laia said, so then, where are we going? Knave says, to that pub up ahead. Can't even see it from here. All you see is a fucking rock wall mountainside. Knave says, ah, there he is. Oh shit, it's Ethan, it's our boy.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Laia says, huh? Hold on a second, Headmaster. Knave says, what is it? Laia says, that's... It is him. Ethan Weber!
Dylan!
Knave says, I guess there's no need for introductions then. Oh, it's about to get real. You two kids can chat it up later. Laia says, hey, Headmaster, what's going on? Ethan's a wanted man.
You son of a...
Nave says, I know. That's why we called him here in secret. Laya says, oh, is that it? You're here to turn yourself in quietly? Ethan Weber. Oh, look at her, she wants to grab his throat right now. Ethan says, not so fast. I'm here to provide you with information. Laya says, you think you can bargain with me? Dude, she's ready to throw hands. Ethan says, it's for the sake of peace in the Graal system. Nave says, Laya, pipe down and listen. Okay. I like how our character just walked off to the side, like, let's surround this fool. So, tell us the situation, Ethan. Oh, there he is. I was like, where'd Lackery go? Ethan says, do you remember the Sochi? Laya says, yeah. The A-photon reactor-induced explosive. The ultimate bomb. I remember. Ethan says, I've been trying to find out where they're making them. Laya says, so then, did you? Ethan says, yes. They're being made in an unregistered relic site. Right here on Motube. Professor Tomrain might be there too. Laya says, might be? Didn't you find this out for yourself? Ethan says, no, but I got this information from some very trustworthy people. Laya says, rogue pirates, no doubt. Nave says, the Guardians have been able to confirm the information as well. Through their own channels. Once you've confirmed it with your own eyes, we want you to put an end to the development of the Sochi. Also, it should go without saying, we would like you to get the professor out safely too. Of course. Laya says, it's been a while since I've seen you act so serious, Headmaster. Alright, are we going to get moving already? Ethan says, thank you, Laya, for not trying to rip my throat out immediately. Laya says, hold on. She wasn't gonna let him off that easy. Be like, we ain't friends, bitch. She says, you're a wanted man, Ethan Weber. Don't think I've forgotten this. Nave says, oh, as hard-headed as ever. I'll be waiting here, so if something comes up, let me know. Illuminus Experiment Facility, Block A1. Laya says there aren't any indications that anyone has ever been here. Ethan says this is the back entrance to the relics my sources found. If we move ahead, we'll come to an outdoor area. From there, we can infiltrate the central core of the research facility. Laya says thieves are pretty good at finding these back entrances, aren't they? Call him a thief? Ethan says, I haven't been very far in yet. Laya says, why did you call on me of all people? Where'd you get that crazy black Matrix coat too? Sci-fi Phantasy Star Universe version of a Matrix coat, basically. This is still the mid-2000s. You know it was kind of inspired by that. Laya says, I'm sure that Leo or Tonio would have been more than happy to help. Ethan says, because Leo and Tonio already understand. Understand what? Thank you. Laya says, understand what, Ethan? Ethan says, I wanted to talk to you in person. Laya says about that attempted assassination. Ethan says, yes. Laya says, so talk then. They're gonna get interrupted. Ethan says, alright. The truth is, my father's life is at stake.
What?
Laya says, what do you mean?
What the fuck?
Wait, you were saying that before you saw your father. Oschamp, Olsen Weber at the Bistonia facility, Oschamp, even though he's supposed to be dead. Isn't that right? As far as we know, yeah, he was supposed to be dead. Ethan says, yes, my father was alive.
What?
But he was captured by the Illuminus. They told me that if I didn't do what they wanted, they'd kill him. Holy shit. Laya says, so they made you try to assassinate. But the fact that you failed, does that mean... Ethan says, I don't know if he's dead or alive. Laya says, so that's how you got caught up in this whole thing. He was coerced. He was under duress. Ethan says, I'm still playing along with them. If it comes down to it, I don't care if you kill me. Laya says, well, if you're putting your life on the line for this, then I'll believe you. You too, right, Lackery? Oh, good, we got to not say something, but we got the nod after 5 hours. Ethan says, thank you, Laya. You too, Lackery. Laya says, well, let's hurry. I'll start. What do we got? Penetrate through to the outside. Okay. Ethan says, first we've got to reach the outside. How did you lose all your levels, Ethan? You were like level 50 something when we fought you in your default outfit in the first mission, and now you're back to level 29. What's going on here? How are his levels resetting? Moving around. I like that he's using a double saber. One that actually looks like the ones from Phantasy Star Online and not the basic kind of shitty looking ones that you buy from the store in this game instead. Oh, they gave us a little gauntlet to run. Alright. Just a bunch of... Every time we're getting shot. I like how the double fans are basically our I didn't notice this last video, but or sorry, last stream, but they count as twin sabers. He's the same arts, the same photon arts, the same symbol in the bottom right there. You know? Jesus, that was kind of harsh. Game's ramping up the difficulty a little bit here. Ethan says we should reach the outside through that door. Alright, trial complete. Penetrated through to the outside.
Oh, that was amazing. You could teach me a thing or two.
Dylan!
We got a compliment from Ethan.
Son of a bitch.
He was like, wow, that was amazing. You could teach me a thing or two. I'm guessing that's probably... like, those lines may have actually been recorded in episode 1. Because I think there was a way to actually have Ethan as, like, Ethan's partner card when you played extra mode or online, even back in episode 1. Or they just recorded those lines for you to have him as a partner card in episode 2, Ambition of the Illuminus. We're probably getting his partner card after this, is what I'm trying to say. But maybe it was available in episode 1 already? I don't know. To be able to play with him as a NPC partner. Ethan says it's probably just ahead. Laia says let's take a break. This might be the last chance we'll get to take one for a while. Ethan says that's true. Laia says, Ethan, there's something I want to ask you. Ethan says, what's that? Laia says, why did you try to abduct the Divine Maiden? Ethan says nothing. Laia says, and then, on the day of the Holy Light Festa, why did you sneak into Communion headquarters? Ethan still doesn't respond. Laia says, I know it's difficult to answer, but you were asked to by the maiden, weren't you? Ethan says, She nailed it. Laia says, Rutsu and the maiden don't see eye to eye on how the communion is run, do they? You were trying to get her out of there, weren't you? Which has always been kind of shady, man. Ethan still says nothing. Laia says, and were you trying to save the Sisters of the Holy Light too? Ethan looks away, still says nothing. He says, I'm sorry, but I really can't talk about those things.
Dude, bullshit.
Laya says, I guess not. It's okay then. Ethan says, I'm sorry. I can see why this chapter is shorter than the rest. That was a very short first half. The dungeon was very, quick. Didn't take very long.
Welcome. How may I assist you? Thank you.
Flash of Ruin 2. Continue deeper into the Illuminus facility to destroy the dangerous Sochi device and rescue Professor Tom Rain. Well, here's hoping we find him. Alive. Laya says, huh? Ethan says, huh? Everybody's like,
Surprise, motherfucker.
well, looks like the jig is up, Ethan. They know. Ethan says, damn, we must have been detected. Laya says, we tried to sneak up on the enemy and instead we walked into a trap.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Of course. Look who it is. Where's his wings? He's not wearing them anymore. He only wore those in episode 1. To look all like, you know, badass and in charge. Now he just kind of looks like one of these generic assholes without the wings. Magashi says, welcome back, Ethan Weber.
You son of a...
Ethan says, Magashi!
You bastard!
Laya says, so he is here. Magashi says, you're late. I was starting to worry you'd gone back to the Guardians. Ethan doesn't respond. Laya says, you can't fool me that easily. Ethan says, Laya. Magashi says, alright then. You're all going to die here anyway. Ethan says, Magashi! Where's the professor? Magashi says, oh, him. We're done with him. The Sochi is completed at last. They're gonna kill him. Ethan says... Magashi says, ha 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 ha! The first bomb has already started counting down. It will erase any evidence of the professor in this research facility. Laya says, no!
You bastard!
Ethan says, we're too late.
Fuck!
Laya, go help the professor. Magashi laughs. Do you even know where he is? The bomb will explode before you even find him. Ethan says, Laya, leave this to me. Laya says, Ethan! Ethan says, it's alright. I promise I'll rendezvous with you later. He's like, I don't plan on dying. Laya pauses for a moment. And says, alright. Let's move, Lackery.
You son of a...
Ethan says, bring it on, Magashi.
You bastard!
Magashi says, ha 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 ha. Win or lose, you'll die either way. This little game means nothing in the grand scheme of things.
Son of a bitch!
He's pulling his cock out!
Laya says, Professor Tom Rain, if you're here, answer me. Damn, where is he? Laya says, hey, Professor Tom Rain? Were we lucky enough to find him alive? He's right there. Tom Rain says, eh?
Surprise, motherfucker!
Hey, we did something in a cutscene. Laya says, are you Professor Tom Rain? Tom Rain says, yes, I am. And you are? Laya says, Laya Martinez with the Guardians. We'll talk later. Right now, I need you to stop the Sochi countdown. Tom Rain says, Unfortunately, it can't be stopped. I designed it that way. There's no way to shut off the bomb. Laya says, no! Then we've got to escape! Whoops. Hurry up! That's all that's left. We gotta run. Ethan, I found the professor. Ethan says, Roger, I've dealt with Magashi. I'll meet you at the exit. Tom Rain says, Mr. Weber? Here, dude. Talk to him. We're doing something. We're actually doing stuff in cutscenes. I like it. Ethan says, Professor, I'm glad you're safe. Tom Rain says, I heard you were looking for the Sochi. But it's too late. Even if we escape the relic site, we won't be able to escape the blast radius of the explosion. You came here for me. I'm so very sorry. Laya says, I don't care what you say. We'll drag you out of here if we have to. No one's left behind. We're all getting out of here. Let's go. Ethan says, Professor, I'm sending out a distress call to the Landil. If anyone can make it in time, that ship can. Probably true. Please, have faith in us. Tom Rain says nothing. And then he says, alright, I trust you. Laya says, how long until the explosion? Tom Rain says, only minutes. Laya says, Ethan, did you hear that? Let's get out of here before that thing blows. Ethan says, Roger, I'm hurrying to the exit. Laya says, who could it be at a time like this? Some unknown person on the other end of the line says, ugh! Or, wait, where is it? Shit. Laya says, that voice. Hugo? And then... I did not mean to do that, but whatever. That was basically what he said. Laya says, hey, what's the matter? Hugo, respond. Hugo? Laya says he got cut off. There's no time to worry about it now. We've got to make it to the exit. Finally found an appropriate place to put that. To actually play that sound effect. Trial start. Escape from the facility in under 10 minutes. Laya says, what's that thing? I've never seen a seed form like that before. I mean, I've seen plenty of these. Fuck you been. Oh shit, she meant this thing. What the fuck?
What?
Surprise, motherfucker.
Although I think we have we? It does look. It looks like a color palette change of one that we have actually seen before. I will say. Also, dude, did Hugo get captured again? Like, is he really? Are we really gonna have to rescue him again, just like in episode 1? Or are they implying that? Lackery just said, "Fuck it, I'm not fighting this thing." He just ran off. It just said, "Fuck it." All right. Laya and Canal Tom Rain. We're both like, Lackery, where'd you go? Laya says it's back. Is there more than one? Oh great, it's a nemesis type thing. It's just gonna chase us. Tom Rain says, no, it's the same one. He must have come around. Oh, I get it. He ran because you can't actually kill it. I'm guessing if we kept fighting it for a while, they would have eventually said something about not being able to kill it. So he's gonna play the role of Nemesis from Resident Evil 3. The original game, not the remake, of course. Where he actually pursues you. Rather than just being a scripted set piece. Although, to be honest, even in the original RE3, his appearances are mostly scripted also. But they are dependent on choices you make as well, so there was some flexibility. But eventually, if you play the game enough times, you knew where he appeared and where he didn't, and which rooms he could actually follow you to and which ones he couldn't. So, it really wasn't, you know... It's not like Mr. X in Resident Evil 2 remake, where he actually like can follow you in a fuck ton of different rooms. Like all over the place in a non-scripted fashion. Remember, I said Resident Evil 2 remake because you know, he was more scripted than that in the original RE2. But yeah, so this guy's playing the role of the pursuer. He's just gonna chase us through a bunch of rooms. So what is this trap? We got fucking fireballs running back and forth across the room, the floor. All right, interesting. Yeah, Mr. X in Resident Evil 2 original, super scripted. Resident Evil Nemesis in Resident Evil 3 was like semi-scripted, but a little bit more flexible. And then Mr. X in Resident Evil 2 remake, super unscripted and flexible. You know, you could travel almost everywhere across the police station. There's very few rooms you couldn't go into. And then Resident Evil 3 remake, they went back to super scripted. Nemesis became super scripted like the original Mr. X Tyrant in Resident Evil 2 original, basically. Huge downgrade. Aya says we should be able to get outside through here. Same thing Ethan said. Seed Benas, level 20. Maybe you can't kill it because that's supposed to be Hugo. That's a plot twist. That's what actually happened. The reason we heard Hugo out of nowhere is because he was coming to help us and then he turned into that fucking monster. You can't kill it because Hugo has plot armor. Tom Rain says 5 minutes left as we escape. Trial completed. Arrived at the exit to the facility. We did it.
Hey, not bad. Not bad at all.
Son of a bitch.
Ethan says, Laya, is everyone safe? Laya says, yeah, we're fine. Is the Landil here? Ethan says, I've transmitted the distress signal. There's nothing we can do now but wait. What was his name again? Shit. Tyler. Tyler says, Ethan, can you hear me? Ethan says, Tyler! There it is.
Dylan!
Tyler says, we've confirmed your position. We'll be there shortly.
Son of a bitch.
Holy shit. Well, I sure hope that wasn't Hugo, because now he's dead. What's he wearing on his arm? Did he always have that? Laya says, this is Laya. Hugo, please respond. No answer. Laya says, Hugo, can you hear me? Hugo! Oh shit, there he is. Hugo says, Laya? What's wrong? Why are you so upset? This is a doppelganger, it's a clone. Laya says, why are you asking me what's wrong?
You bastard!
Why did you call me and then hang up all of a sudden? Hugo says, well, it looks like I accidentally turned my comm unit on without... Champ, realizing it. Sorry about that. Wait. Uh-huh? Where am I? What's going on? Laya says, hey, cut out the sleepwalking stuff. Well, as long as nothing is wrong. By the way, what happened with GRM? Hugo says, oh, that. Well, while they're developing the seed virus vaccine, GRM is definitely working on seed virus weapons as well. There's no mistake about it. Laya says, I see. Hugo says, I'm a little busy right now. I'll talk to you later. Laya says, okay. Sorry to bother you. Laya says, man, what's with that guy? Now she's thinking to herself, something seemed a little odd though. Hello, Sus. We got Suska. Hugo, Suska. Ethan says, good work out there, Professor. Laya says, yes, here we are, safe and sound. Tom Rain says nothing. Laya says, Professor, is everything okay? Tom Rain says, it happened again. I was the only one saved. Survivor's Guild. Damn. He says, I should have died in the Melvor explosion. Ethan says, come on, where would Geralt be without you, Professor? Even if it costs us our lives, we'll protect you to the very end. Tom Rain says, you are too kind to me, Mr. Weber. I'm just a weak man who gave in to the Illuminus' threats. They said if I didn't participate, they would release the seed virus on Perum. Ethan says, under those circumstances, how could you refuse? Tom Rain says, but I didn't even have any proof they'd kept their word. Or they'd keep their word, sorry. He's got a point. We should probably be telling the Perum authorities, you know, the Alliance military forces, someone about this potential threat. Laya pauses for a moment. And so does Ethan. Neither of them say anything. Tom Rain says, I've unleashed Sochi, the most terrible weapon ever made. Laya says, Magashi said it was the one finished product. Or said it was the one finished product, sorry. Tom Rain says, they'll probably start up the production line soon. There's something I need to get off my chest. Laya says, there's something else? Tom Rain says, the secret of A photons. There are those who hide the fact that A photons are not the energy of the future and who use it to their own advantage. Ethan says, the Illuminus. I'll smash them to pieces. Tom Rain says, no, not just them. Laya says, GRM? Tom Rain says, you picked up on that? Laya says, Hugo's investigating them now. They'll probably try to say they were threatened. But by developing seed virus weapons, GRM is making quite a lot of money. I won't let them get away with pretending to be innocent victims. Go get him, Leia. Tom Rain says, I want you to remember the fact that we A-Photon researchers, we were sucked dry by GRM. Poor choice of words, man. Leia says, was there any other place you could have gone besides GRM? Tom Rain says, if I had gone to the Guardians sooner and met with President Dalgun, I probably wouldn't have made such terrible mistakes. I could have been treated as a criminal involved in the Melvor explosion, or lived out my days working for a military enterprise. Ethan says, the ultimate decision. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Tom Rain says, there's nothing left for me to do but suffer. Man, that's a shitty hand he was dealt. This poor guy. Tom Rain says, until the day comes when the dark nature of A-Photons can be made known to the world. Leia says, it would be nice if the world could be ready for that someday. Ethan says, it will. Tom Rain says, thank you, both of you. Please give my regards to Mr. Wright. Leia says, so, what are you going to do? Ethan says, well, I'm just a civilian partner. Leia says, you're going to run off again, aren't you? Ethan says, I can't go back yet. There's someone I have to protect. And there are many places a Guardian can't go in this world. Leia says, I understand that much. Ethan says, Leia, join me. Let's put a stop to the Illuminus, once and for all. Leia says, I'm sorry, but you'll have to ask someone else. Aw, why? I've got to defeat them in my own way. Yeah, I guess, yeah, we all gotta walk our own path, right? Knave is ringing us up, and he says, blast it, Leia! If you're safe, then send me a message telling me you're safe! He was worried sick. I heard there was a big explosion at a relic site, and I imagined the worst. Leia says, I'm sorry, Headmaster. There was a lot going on. We're fine. I'll fill you in on the details when I get back. Leia says, can you let me off near Dagora City? For a Guardian like me, hitching a ride on a rogue ship just doesn't feel right. Listener, by the book Leia over here. That's why even Ethan was like, bruh. The investigation up until now has been to no avail, as the Illuminus have completed their A-Photon bomb. But the rescue of Professor Tom Rain was the one success that came out of the unfortunate events. Ethan Weber and Professor Tom Rain reported that the Illuminus and GRM are threatening the peace of Garal. The human fundamentalist terrorist organization and the military enterprise must be stopped. Having an entire military organization to go up against, along with, you know, that's backing and funding a terrorist organization, that never makes things easy. Alfort Tyler has given you their partner card, so we're never gonna actually fight alongside him or anything in a mission. Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened here because we didn't actually have him in our party. So yeah, not Ethan, just Alfort. Alright. And here's the new free missions. And there you have, folks. Alright, well, that was still close enough to an hour. Looks like there's gonna be no intermission for character maintenance. He's going right into the next episode, which is called These probably have to go. Yeah, next page. There it is. The price of genocide. Holy shit. A large number of seed forms have begun appearing around the cities on MoTube. Hurry to Dagora City. Well, there you have it, folks. That's the teaser for the next episode. But we are all done for now. That's, yeah, it's 50 minutes, close enough to an hour, and I've actually gone over an hour in a few other episodes, so it balances out. Yeah, we'll leave it there. So as always, thank you all very much for watching. I appreciate the support across Twitch and YouTube, wherever you decide to watch. Thank you very much. As always, please do take care of yourselves, stay safe, don't die. And until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, and good night. And I will see you all, where's the button? There it is, next time. Peace.
Dylan! You son of a bitch.